Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the brand new Player's Handbook, talking about the subclasses within. All classes get their subclasses at level 3 now, and all classes have 4 to choose from in this Player's Handbook. There is a very solid amount of variety and power amongst them, and the balance between them is quite remarkable. Today we're wrapping up our series on the Barbarian and talking about the path of the Zealot. Most barbarians pull their power from the wild or from nature itself, but this one seems to pull its power from a god or a pantheon or some sort of divine fury. The Zealot was a popular pick in the old D&D when you go into the expanded books, and today we're talking about this tweaked and slightly changed version of the Zealot. We'll get into the details of how it's changed in just a moment. Before we do, though, I'd like to let you know, Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter, but also you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button. It's just down there next to the subscribe button. I'd love to see you in the comments with your member badges. And if it doesn't interest you, that's totally fine too. Just watching my videos at all, liking, subscribing, all that stuff that costs nothing, is a wonderful way to support me, helps grow the community, boost the algorithm, all that fun stuff. So thank you very much for watching my content here on YouTube. So, Barbarian, subclass, choose at level 3, and you get 2 things right off the bat. The first one is Divine Fury. While you are raging, every turn that you're making attacks, you can, to one of your attacks, either a weapon or an unarmed strike, the creature that you hit will take extra damage equal to 1d6 plus half your barbarian level rounded down. So at the moment, that would be 1d6 plus 1, because you're level 3. So that's, 4 or 5 extra damage on average that you're doing once per turn. It's going to be radiant or necrotic damage, so it does get around a lot of resistances, and you choose the type each time that you hit. So if you know a creature is resistant to one, you can use the other. Not many creatures are resistant to radiant, so I'd go with that most of the time. It's a shame that you can't do this multiple times per turn with every strike, but still, it's a decent little boost in damage. Yeah, I'm going to give this 10 out of 10 because at level 3, this is adding more damage to your attacks than your rage is. Even when you get extra attack, if you attack twice, the rage damage bonus is only 2 per attack. This is 4 or 5 per turn, and it continues to go up. So yeah, I'm going to say 10 out of 10 for this. The other thing you get at level 3 is Warrior of the Gods, and this actually gives you a self-heal ability. You get a pool of dice. At this point, it is 4d12s. And as a bonus action, you can take any number of those dice and roll them and gain a number of hit points equal to that roll. That is an average of 26. Obviously, you can be higher or lower depending on your rolling luck. And you get them all back on a long rest. The number of dice goes up as you level up. Level 6, 12, and 17, you get an extra die. So you'll have 7d12 by the end of the game that you can just use to heal yourself. This is basically second wind on steroids. I will say that because Barbarians already have d12 hit dice, and when you roll hit dice on a short rest, you get them back plus your Constitution modifier to every die. So there's a little more stability in short rests. These are still solid. You're still getting a good amount of hit points, but yeah, I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10. I would have given it 10 out of 10 if it was the D12s plus your con mod, because that would have just made you the toughest barbarian out there, able to heal yourself with extra hit dice. But no, it's just healing dice. So not quite as good as the short rest, but you can do it as a bonus action. So action economy wins here. Anyway, we move on to level 6, where we get Fanatical Focus. And once per rage, if you fail a saving throw, you can re-roll it and add your rage damage as a bonus. Again, that's a +2 for like the first half of the game, and then it goes up to +3 and then eventually a +4. So you're adding a little bump to a re-rolled saving throw. You can do it once per rage. So basically once a fight, because you'll be raging most fights. And obviously there's the whole you can rage outside of combat now, bumping it, along with your bonus action. And that is absolutely a thing. So if you get stuck outside of combat doing a skill challenge while you're raging and you have to make a save, then you could do this. It's, I don't know, it does feel like it's a little bit limited. A lot of barbarians just dump their mental stats, their wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. And when you fail, let's just say you have a 10 in your wisdom, so you've got no modifier, and you have to pass a DC 15 check. You're going to roll, let's say you roll like an 8 or something, and then you're like, I'm going to use my Fanatical Focus and re-roll it. It kind of falls into the same feature as the old fighter's Indomitable. It's like, yeah, you're getting a +2 bonus, but what are the chances you're going to make that DC 15 check on a reroll? It's okay. It definitely will save your butt. It's going to help you, but I just wish that it gave you, like, I would have loved to see, like, your bonus equal half your Barbarian level instead of your rage damage bonus. That way, once per rage, you get, like, a free reroll that's almost guaranteed to succeed. Because by the end of the game, you'd be adding a +10 to it instead of a +4. So yeah, I think this is 9 out of 10 because, again, it's going to save you, but it's not going to save you every time. So I see this landing in a disappointing category sometimes, and a thank God category other times. So 9 out of 10. Then level 10, you get the Zealous Presence power. This says, as a bonus action, you can let out a battle cry. And up to 10 creatures of your choice, so you can choose all of your allies, maybe some NPCs, that are within 60 feet of you, gain advantage on their attack rolls and saving throws until the start of your next turn. Now, this does not benefit you. That being said, you're a barbarian, so you can just reckless attack and get advantage anyway. And yeah, you can basically, for one round, give your whole party advantage on their attacks and saves, which is solid. That is very, very powerful. Problem is, you can only do this once per long rest, and you can only recharge it by using a use of your rage. Rage being a resource that definitely has a limited quantity. You're level 10 now. You've got like 4 rages a day, I think. You get 1 back on short rests, so you can always short rest to get 1. But I definitely see this being something that, because you could do this multiple times in a fight, I could see a barbarian going into their rage and then using this like twice a combat and then getting like 1 short rest. They'd be out of rages by the second fight. And I like it. Trust me. It's a very powerful ability, especially if you've got some heavy hitters in your party that love attack rolls, rogues and paladins and the like. It's just a shame. I would have preferred it to be you can do this proficiency bonus times per day, as opposed to once per day and then recharging it with rages, because you want to keep your rages. They're important. You use them in fights all the time. And this makes it so that your rages might actually run out. I wouldn't worry about barbarians running out of rages most of the time. Now I do. So, once again, I'm going to give this 9 out of 10 because it's an incredibly powerful 10 out of 10 ability that comes with a heavy cost if you overuse it. Then finally comes level 14 and Rage of the Gods. When you enter your rage, you can choose to go into a divine warrior form. Now, you can only do this once per day. You can't re-spend more rages to do it again. So on the important fight of the day, you can choose to do this. And when you do, it lasts for a minute, so it doesn't last the entire rage, but it will last the entire fight. Most fights last less than 10 rounds. And you get these benefits. One, you get a flying speed. The flying speed is equal to your walking speed, and you do have hover, so you can't get knocked out of the air. You gain resistance to necrotic, radiant, and psychic damage on top of the regular bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, and even the Wild Heart Barbarian can't brag that. Finally, when a creature within 30 feet of you would drop to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction and burn a use of your rage, there it is, to cause the creature to drop to a number of hit points equal to your barbarian level instead. So, you know, you're flying around in the air, chopping away at enemies and flying away, and then, you know, your paladin friend on the ground ends up taking a massive hit, and they're about to go to 0, and you can reaction, use a rage up. By this point, I think you have 5 or 6. And you can pop them back up with 14 hit points. Which is enough to potentially get them through another attack. Well, I guess it depends what you're fighting. Now, I like the fact that it gives you the flying speed. That's incredibly strong. I like the fact that you can't utilize rage to do it again, that you just get this once per day, and that's it. So you have to pick and choose when you use it. The damage resistances are solid, especially in a higher game when necrotic and psychic become more common damage types. That rejuvenation thing's a little strange. I wish you could just kind of do it. I wish it just used your reaction. Because, I mean, you're already utilizing your Rage of the Gods, a once per day feature. It wouldn't break the game at all to say that you burn your reaction to pop your allies back up, you know, during that 1 minute time period. But I digress. The idea that you can still do it. And if you're using this, it's probably the hard fight of the day. You're going to use this on the boss fight. You're going to use this on the most difficult fight in the dungeon. So if you have rages left, this is actually a good use for them. Because I wouldn't be using this divine rage of the gods, on just any old fight. I'd be using it on the fight. So I think that this is actually a passable reason to burn through your rages. I think that this is a really powerful feature. I think it's 10 out of 10. I don't think that it is the strongest thing barbarians can do overall, but it's definitely adding flying, extra damage resistances, and just a tiny bit of support as well, I think is well worth the 10 out of 10. I think the flying speed alone gets you halfway there. Overall, the Zealot is still a powerful subclass, and it takes a little bit of everything. A bit of self-healing, a good amount of self-healing actually, extra damage every single turn, and that's really, really good. A way to buff your allies and support the party, and then at the end, you get flight, extra damage resistances, and support. So you're just buffing all aspects of combat. Every part of the fight, whether it's allies, whether it's the control and maneuvering of the battlefield, self-healing, extra damage, it's all here, wrapped up in a nice, neat little bow. None of the features stand out as super powerful, but all of them are good or great at what it is they're doing. So I give the Zealot 9 out of 10. Not the strongest barbarian by any means, but very good for an all-rounder, someone who wants to have just a little bit of everything. It doesn't have the utility of the Wild Heart, it doesn't have the raw damage of the Berserker, and it doesn't have the support capabilities and control of the World Tree. It's got, like, just a smidgen of everything. And I like that. I like classes and subclasses that try to balance themselves, and the Zealot does a decent job of that. So 9 out of 10, nice job, Zealot. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.